Have we become pathetically weak as a people? This is something that's just been burning in me for a long time. I've considered making a video pretty much since I started the channel on this, and I just didn't know how to word it properly, how to maybe not step on people's toes, because I have been accused a few times of, speaking fairly bluntly, of not sugarcoating things that like Grandpa used to say. I don't usually go around the barn to get to the door. I just let it kind of fall out of my mouth. I don't do that, purposefully to hurt someone or to offend someone or to step on their toes. I just believe in plain speaking truth, and sometimes the truth hurts. But here lately, it just seems like it's kind of been in my face more and more. So, yeah, this is going to be another one of those rants. Seems like a lot of them this week. I've been in this mood, not a bad mood, not really an argumentative mood. Maybe I've read too much about the news and things going on this week. It's just gotten me kind of fired up, just in this mood to kind of get on my soapbox kind of thing. So, my disclaimer with this video is, I have no intention to offend someone. I have no intention to harm your feelings, or speak in an intolerant way to anyone. But maybe I'm all alone on this one. What's going on with just us people, humans? It seems to be it's mostly the Western world, America and Europe and a few others, that we seem to become this fragile, weak people, that are the only thing we seem to, we tolerate everything, in this country. Everything's tolerance except truth, morality, freedom. Those things aren't tolerated, but everything else has to be tolerated. And all I see anymore is just this, the weakness and the man. I wish you guys could help me out while I'm speaking to come up with the right words. The over emotions, that we have to be concerned with others' feelings, that we can't, this lack of toughness. And it's not just a manly thing, there's this thing called, masculine toxicity. It's not just in men either that men can be tough. Women are tough too. There's thousands of stories, and I can, and also in my own personal life of women that were tough. And nowadays everyone has to be soft and gentle and weak and fragile, and we have to accept that, and that's the way to be. I think what spurred this particular video was this morning. Some of you are familiar with a new tutora, Zach Bauer. He posted something, and it was about how much people are making now as professional cuddlers. It's a type of therapy. If you've not heard about it, you can actually become a real therapist. It's nothing inappropriate or sexual, but that people will come to you and you will hold them and you will hug them and you will cuddle with them because it helps their feelings. It makes them feel better. And in the article, it showed a picture of assuming this professional cuddling therapist. And there was a man that was probably in his 50s that was, curled up like an infant in her arms while she was cuddling him. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with men today and with people in general that we have to do that? Are you not, I know that people go, I have been through things in my life. I have been through things that have brought me down to rock bottom, that I felt that I couldn't make it another day. I have seen the valley of the shadow of death, at least in my experiences, and I'm sure many have experienced much worse than I have. But I made it through it, and I didn't need to go to someone and have them hold me like I was some infant child. Did I have feelings and emotions? Did I kind of cry? Or, depending on the situation, maybe. But I also knew that I had to be strong and pull myself up by the bootstraps and to keep moving. What's happened? You know, I'm seeing this picture of this full-grown man, probably in his 50s or so, and I'm thinking back, you know, I'm not quite there. I'm in my 40s. But, you know, I'm thinking to, like, my father, who is much older than that, my grandparent fathers, which are all passed on years ago, and trying to imagine them doing something like this. Are we for real? Is that where we have come to in our existence, that we are such a fragile species, such a fragile people, that we've lost, you know, our sanity is what it seems like to me. Yes, I get it. Yes, we have emotions. We have feelings. We go through tough times, and sometimes we need to express those feelings and vent them, and have a moment of silence and sorrow, and even maybe a cry here and there. But have we gone a little overboard? Where's just the general toughness in the newer, younger generations? Another thing I was reading, it was a news article a few days ago, and it wasn't about the article. The article was talking about, you know, the new millennials, the younger millennials in their 20s, you know, entering the workforce. They're getting out of college, and they're going to the workforce, and blah, blah, blah. You know, the article itself was pathetic, and I didn't care much about it. What caught my eye, though, was in the article, it had a couple of pictures, you know, a few pictures of, and it was pictures of, you know, millennials at work, in office settings, in like cubicles or their little office, you know, areas and stuff. And what caught my eye, which was not in the article, but what caught my eye is every one of them, their desk area, their office, their cubicles, they look like a preschool. You know, look like somewhere where you take your child for daycare or for preschool. Little stuffed animals and toys and you know, decorated all over their desk and on the wall, little cartoon figures and little stuffed animals and toys. I've seen that before, where young people at work, and not just young people, I guess, that, you know, even people my age, you know, that they'll have, you know, a stuffed animal at work to kind of comfort them. You know, I had read once a while back that in toy sales, that millennials are purchasing toys almost as much as, you know, as children are. That, you know, almost as much toy sales is to millennials as they are to children. And I'm thinking, are we reverting back to childhood? It's more and more. It's just, it drives me nuts. But, you know, seeing the cuddling, which I'd heard about the whole cuddling thing in the past, but watching, you know, seeing that picture, just, yeah, man, it just kind of set me off. This video probably is not going to go anywhere. I don't have really a point to it. But we as people have been, you know, we have gone through things from creation up till now that we have endured. I think back to my grandparents and what they went through. Both of my grandfathers were World War II veterans. One of them was also a Korean War veteran and was decorated in both wars. These men were tough. Did they go through a lot? Absolutely. My grandfather that was served in both wars also lost 3 children while they were children, and I, you know, was told that it really he went through a lot of depression and a lot of, you know, emotional anguish because he had to bury 3 children. But did he, you know, cuddle up with the teddy bear and become weak and fragile? No, he was tough. He was strong. Did he hide it? Maybe he did, but he'd lock it inside, I guess. And, you know, of course, the therapists nowadays say, well, that's not a good thing. It's not what we do. We should let it out. We should let our feelings out, and it's okay to cry. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to express your childhood and things like that. And I'm trying to figure out why. To weaken us, you know, from militaristic standpoint, from a prepper standpoint, things like that. You know, I look at basically the axis of evil and the allies, or whatever you want to call it, basically us and our allies and the other opposing side. And it seems more and more that us and our allies are the ones that are showing this embracing this weakness, this fragility, this soft and gentle tenderness. Us, Europe, very tolerant and very open. Sorry, got a rooster down here giving his opinion. Japan, I've seen, you know, articles and pictures there. You know, they're young people. They're, you know, all into toys and cartoons and just like ours. And then you see the opposing side of, you know, Russia and China and North Korea, where they're still, you know, right or wrong, you know, they beat the toughness into them. And I'm trying to figure out where have we gone wrong in our country. I could list several things of where we've gone wrong. We've turned our back on God. That was the first thing we did wrong. We embraced this radical, you know, Marxist liberalism. It's another thing that we went wrong on. And we've, you know, since like the 70s, it seems like it's been this trickle down of you know, not just embracing, but, you know, pushing our emotions to the surface to where, you know, everyone is offended. Everyone's offended by something. Everyone gets over-emotional. Everyone has, you know, well, I have too much stress, so I need to take the day off. Everyone's got some kind of illness now. No one seems to be just tough enough to work through it. No one seems to be able to just kind of push through that. No one seems to be able to handle the truth anymore. When the truth is spoken, someone's offended by it, it seems like. It's just constantly from all around us. Of course, you can speak of immoral things, ungodly things, of radically liberal things, and that's okay. But if you speak of anything of truth and justice and purity and morality, well, then you become offensive, because someone out there disagrees with that, and now they're offended. And you can't speak that way, because there's these things now called social justice warriors. I'm learning all these terms. Where they'll burn up their keyboards attacking you because you were such a bad person, because you know, you called something immoral, or you said that, you know, men are supposed to use men's restrooms and women are supposed to use women's restrooms because that's how we were created. It's disgusting to me, and I know that there's going to be some that's probably going to be offended. Yeah, I may lose some viewers. Oh well. I've never been the type to back away from my beliefs. I believe them strongly. I never claim that they are the right beliefs, but they are my beliefs. And you know, to me, the truth doesn't need to be sugar-coated. It just needs to be said. And I wonder back our founders, our founding fathers that you know, created this nation that we live in, and you know, what they would be thinking. How many of them would be rolling over in their graves if they knew how we were becoming? The generations before us, the greatest generation, you know, World War II era, those folks, of what they went through, what those soldiers went through in war, what the people went through back here at home, what people went through in Europe, all over the world, the atrocities and the pain and the anguish, both physically, mentally, that people went through, and they survived. Did it suck? Absolutely it did. But they pulled themselves up, and they made it. They knew they had to survive. They had that survival mentality, that they had to push through it and survive. Do we have that today? Well, I think that probably many of my viewers do. Going by the comments that I read and stuff. So I'm not saying that you all are this way. I'm using a general term. We as in America. We as in the modern Western world. It seems that we are just becoming constantly weak. I think that's why there's, you know, so many of our enemies that are rattling their sabers all around the world. They see it too. They see this weakness. They see weaknesses in our politics. They see weaknesses within our people. Do we really think that if we were invaded, that, you know, so many of the American people would actually have the guts to stand up and fight against an invader? Some, yeah. There's definitely some, but there's many, many that wouldn't. And it's something that's just seems like this week. It's like every time I look at the news or I read an article or something, it's like slapping me in the face of the new thing is to be weak and soft and gentle and you know, overly emotional and overly affectionate and needing to cuddle and being careful not to offend someone. And everyone, you know, could be offended by something, that everyone is a victim anymore. Everyone is woe is me, I'm a victim. Oh, you know, give me a special chance and a special, you know, easy way out because I'm a victim. And well, I don't have the opportunities that everyone else does. So woe is me, or well, you know, I'm dealing with this mental or this physical problem that, well, you know, you've got to, you know, give me kind of a special advantage because of that. I don't know what to say. This is a huge rant. Probably shouldn't even post this. I'm sure YouTube won't like it. Sure. There's true physical problems out there that people have, disabilities. I have my own physical ailments that I've been dealing with for the last few years that are not fun, not nearly as bad as many others out there. People that deal with psychological problems and trauma from their past. I acknowledge that sure, absolutely. And, you know, people can say mean and hurtful things. All true. But does that mean that we just, you know, all have to become weak and careful of what we say and do, and that everyone needs some kind of special treatment, you know? Kind of like with, you know, how people raise their kids, that every kid's a special kid, every kid gets a trophy. Well, let me break it down for you. If everyone's special, then no one is special. Think about that. You know, I tell my kids, you know, you guys are special to me. This is what I tell them. There'll be some people that say, you're a horrible parent, but this is honest God's truth. I tell my kids, all of them, you guys are special to me. You're the most important things in the world to me. But once you get out there in the real world, you're nothing. You're not special to anyone out there, because you're just a regular person like everyone else. And you need to kind of have some toughness. You need to be ready for the world out there. Because while you're special to me, and you're special to the Father in heaven, you're not special to anyone else out in the world. That's how the world sees it. And that's the truth. That may be harsh, but it is true. I don't know. If I'm a horrible person that's offended a lot of you, it's okay to go ahead and say so. I'm very thick-skinned, and I'll get over it. But the whole thing of reading that article that Zach Bauer posted this morning about cuddling, and just seeing the picture of that old man, well, not old, a few years older than me, cuddled up, getting cuddled by some therapist. I thought, wow. I don't know. Anyways, that's my crazy rant for today. I will catch you guys and gals in the next video. I better just shut up.